The decision made by Australia and New Zealand to withdraw their teams from the upcoming Rugby League World Cup in the United Kingdom has been met with dismay and confusion in the International Rugby League community. It made the back pages of newspapers in the UK, almost unheard of for rugby league, and was widely criticised around the globe. The majority of the blame has been placed at the door of the Australian Rugby League Commission, ARLC, who made the call in what has been seen as a craven move to place the wishes of the National Rugby League, NRL, clubs ahead of the international game. The decision to withdraw Australia and New Zealand was done without consultation with other members of the Asia Pacific Rugby League, APRL, the regional confederations that includes all of the other Pacific nations. APRL nations are thought to be livid that Australia and New Zealand have unilaterally taken themselves out of the World Cup without informing their fellow members. Nations beyond the Pacific also angered that two of the major nations on the board of International Rugby League, IRL, have made this call in a way that meant that the members of the same board were not given time to react. It is also thought that they were informed of the pullout less than an hour before the press release was sent. Forbes can reveal that the APRL are now due to hold a meeting this coming week regarding their reaction to the decision, with the participation of other nations hanging on that call. It was originally scheduled for later in the week, but has been brought forward so that Peter Beattie, Australia's representative, can attend. NZRL chief Greg Peters told Forbes that he may recuse himself from the meeting, as he is also Vice President of APRL. Should the other World Cup qualified nations, Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, Cook Islands and Papua New Guinea, decide to play on, then the World Cup could yet see as many as 100 NRL players participate in the tournament despite the Australian withdrawal and in the face of their employers. As it stands, the other Pacific nations could call up players and the ARLC and NRL clubs would be powerless to stop them. As long as their official national governing body compete, the legal right would lie with them to call up any players that are eligible. It would then force a showdown with the clubs over their own players, as it is written into their NRL contracts that they have to be released if called up and fit. Fiji will call up their NRL players. Fiji, who reached the semi-finals of the last World Cup, have confirmed to Forbes that, pending the collective decision of the other APRLC members, they would call up all of their NRL players. We would have a situation to call up our players out of Australia after the ARLC have decided to withdraw their teams, says Don Nabate, acting CEO of Fiji National Rugby League, FNRL. We have a bulk of players, especially in the NRL, that we want to be available as our best players.